Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So, the Inghams, as we know, have moved across the world to Dubai, right? And they think it's going to be a fantastic experience for them, and they have many plans, I'm sure, to buy houses, properties, and just live it up over there. Now, I've put together the ultimate guide to the Inghams moving to Dubai, because they clearly have not put too much thought into it, but this is what they need to do, what they need to know, and anybody else that wants to move to Dubai should heed these warnings, or not just necessarily warnings, just this guide. It's full and it's filled, and let's get right into it. So the first thing that you need to know about why they have moved to Dubai is the tax situation. Now, you may have heard about how it's cheap tax over there, it's free tax over there, it's a tax haven, right? And that's why many people move there. There's no tax at all, as we can see by this. So all this information is taken off the government website in the UK, so it's fairly accurate. Obviously, you need to check and do your own research for up-to-date information, but this says there is no income tax on salaries or wages paid in the UAE. Depending on the emirate, there may be taxes on some services and goods, municipal taxes and customs duties. So if you are working in an actual job, you don't get salary tax. There's no income tax, basically, right? And it goes on to say here, the UK has a double taxation agreement with UAE. We recommend you get professional advice on paying tax in the UAE. So that basically means that you could get double taxed from there and here, right? Depending on your status, your residency status, I guess, and things like that. I'm not an expert, so if you're planning to do this whole thing that Chris has set up, please do your own research, get professional advice is my advice, right? But this person commented on one of my videos recently, which gave a very good insight into how tax works over there, and may actually help you, or Chris in fact, decide whether this is for them. It says, I live part-time in the Middle East. My friend lives there full-time as he's given up British residency, and life out there is what you make of it. Unfortunately, the summer heat makes it very difficult, and so I come home to the UK as I'm still a UK resident. My friend can only return to the UK for 91 days and legally work here for 30 days, otherwise he's liable for UK tax. He can't access the NHS, etc. So I'm guessing, right, it depends on the residency status that the Inghams have decided to go with. This person says that they live in the Middle East but also hold a dual residency with the UK, but they also have a friend that has full-time residency in the Middle East, so they can only return to the UK for 91 days, and that is it, and can only legally work for 30 days, otherwise they are liable for UK tax. So I think very much it depends on what the Inghams have gone with. Are they keeping dual residency? I suspect that they are. Which begs the question, are they going to have to pay UK tax whilst they're in the UK if they're making money from the UK whilst they're working? Because bear in mind, when the Inghams go back home, they're not just going back home for a holiday or anything like that. They're going back home and they will be working. They do vlogmas, etc., and that means that they're making money whilst they're in the UK, and therefore liable for UK tax as well. So there's definitely a tax element to why they've moved out there, but what it is anybody's guess, in my opinion. Now, this part was very interesting to me. It was all about working in the UAE, It said, if you need a good conduct certificate from the UK, you should apply through the ACRO Criminal Records Office. I just can imagine Chris needing a good conduct certificate to actually get his residency over there. Quite how he's pulled that one off is anybody's guess, because if anybody looked up to see if he has good conduct, it's not great conduct, is it? Let's be honest, Chris, not great whatsoever. Now, dress code. So this is the subject of many theories and many concerns where the Inghams are concerned, because Chris himself has denounced the dress code as being a myth. He has. But according to the Gov website, it's not entirely a myth. The dress code is thusly. It says, dress modestly in public areas like shopping malls. Women should cover the tops of their arms and legs, and underwear should not be visible. In my opinion, underwear should not be visible, period, right? Shouldn't be. Anyway, swimming attire should only be worn on beaches or at swimming pools. That makes sense to me. Cross-dressing is illegal. That does not make sense to me, because who the hell are they to tell anybody what you can and cannot wear, right? Am I right? Yeah. Anyway, that's another matter. We're going to talk more about that later on. Now, this whole dress code, dressing modestly, I think Chris and Sarah quite have it wrong. They completely have it wrong. They don't understand what is actually modesty and what is not modesty, right? Because now, as we can see from this particular picture here, Esme is dressed fine for the UK, I guess, right? But as you can see, her arms, her shoulders are not covered. And then you can see from this picture here, you can see Isabel is, well, no, she should be staying at home, I'm afraid, if she's wearing that. That's not my prudish opinion. This is the dress culture of the country where they have decided to take up residency. Don't forget, it's not just a holiday to them. This is where they live now. They've decided to embrace the culture of the place where they live, and they have failed already. They've only been there a few days, and that is how they've chosen to disrespect the culture to where they've decided to live. Yeah. Homeschooling, the very source of many people complaining and being worried about those children. Are they doing homeschooling? In the UK, it's debatable, right? And they can get around the system due to various factors. In Dubai, it may be a little bit more complicated or more simplistic. I'm not too sure. So, what is homeschooling and how does it work? Under the system of homeschooling, the student is not required to attend regular classes. After the student registers, the educational zone in the respective emirate will provide him or her with the books and the required learning materials. The student will self-study at home without attending regular classes. Now, my issue here with this is not definitive as to whether this is an absolute what you must do. Do you have to register with a school or something and do it at home? I don't know. At the end of the year or at the end of the semester, the student will sit for class exams as set by the assessment and examinations department and the continuous learning department in the Ministry of Education. The successful completion of a homeschool education in the UAE is equivalent to graduation from any regular public school in the UAE. Now, again, it's saying here that you need to sit exams at the end of the year, but it doesn't say if this is a definitive, right? It goes on here to say Articles 31, 35 and 60 of Federal Law number 3 of 2016 lists the education and other rights of children in the UAE. Neglecting them could lead to jail time or a minimum fine of 5,000 dirham. So, education is important even in Dubai, right? you can't go out there and think, right, not going to educate our kids now, can get around the system, because it's important that they do it over there still, right? But it's still not clear whether or not this is like how they need to do it, right? I haven't been able to find a definitive guide on homeschooling, and I think the issue here that I have, and I think that it's impossible to say for sure whether or not they should be homeschooling, or whether or not there's a certain way that they have to homeschool, because even in the UK it's not clear how you're supposed to do it. There's no guide on homeschooling in the UK that's definitive. You need to find out this information for yourself. So I'm a bit weary about saying that they're not doing it properly or whatever, but from a developmental point of view, I would say that they still need to carry on what they're doing with the kids. I say what they're doing, and a lot of people think that they're not doing anything, right? So if the Inghams are deciding to move out there just so that they can get away with things, it's not going to work, is it? Let's be honest. Socializing. Oh yes, socializing. Now they are going across to Dubai with the intention of doing what? Right? It's not a holiday, is it? It's a full-time residency, right? Or part-time residency, or whatever. They're living there now, right? It's not a holiday. So what is there to do for children to entertain themselves, or to find people of like-mindedness to hang out with and do things with and be with, right? In the UK, you'd be like, well, send them to nursery, or send them to school, or send them to Girl Guides, or send them to some other activity that they could do, that they could integrate and enjoy with other children, right? So in Dubai, what is there to do? Well, we know they're not going to send their kids to these places because they wouldn't do it in the UK. They're not going to do it in Dubai. Now, I've had a look around to see what there is to actually do for a child in Dubai. Now, I found this. It happens to be the world's largest water park.
It's my turn now.
You guys can go in front.
I don't know what's going on with my voice today, but I'm slowly losing my voice. We're on the lazy river rapids at Monsterstone.
I've got an air.
Apparently I have to experience it, so here we go.
So aside from a water park, there's also Legoland in Dubai, which ironically enough also happens to have a water park. So there's that as well if you're into water parks. But if you're not into water parks, what else can you do? Well, there happens to be a very lovely beach, which also contains water.
Told you.
Now, I don't want to visit copious amounts of water parks and beaches, so I thought I'd do a bit more research to find out exactly what there is to do in Dubai, and I found this, courtesy of the Ingham family, our top 5 things you need to do in Dubai in one day. So they've actually put together their own little list, which I found very exciting and interesting. So in at number 1,
we've headed over to the Laguna water park that's actually on the beach.
oh, hang on a second, that's just another water park, a different one obviously, but it is another water park. I do wonder though if there's anything else to do apart from ye old water parks.
Okay, so we just got to Dubai frame and I am so excited. Number one, to go to the top and walk along the glass floor. But secondly, for the air conditioning. So cool. Last stop of the day, Rampo Extreme. Okay, I kind of look like a sweaty smurf.
Indeed, the sweaty smurf. Out of that top 5, I only found those 3 items, so I'm not quite sure what the other 2 were. It was possibly a jet ski thing and possibly the beach, but you know, I think we've covered water enough. So, yeah. So on to the next segment, which is human rights. Everybody's favourite topic these days, isn't it? Human rights. It's the current narrative. Am I right, Christopher? The current narrative. Now, there are 1 or 2 issues surrounding Dubai and the Middle East, as you may have heard in mainstream media. It's not just in mainstream media these days, Christopher. It's all over the internet, right? So, number 1 here on the list is public displays of affection. Public displays of affection are frowned upon. You can be arrested for kissing in public. Now, Chris has already said that public displays of affection are beyond himself and Sarah, because they've been married a long time, so they don't tend to do that sort of nonsense, right? But I did find this, so so yeah, there'll be no more of that outrageous behaviour, Christopher, as well as this sort of thing. Sexual relationships outside of marriage. I know for a fact, Chris, that you tried to get it on with 16-year-old girls, but you know, that's not just frowned upon in this country, it's actually illegal. But consensual relations, sexual relationships between a male and female outside marriage are generally legal, as long as both are over the age of 18 years. This includes extramarital sexual relationships, right? So you are allowed to cheat on your partner, okay? Saying here, right, Chris? Okay, you're allowed to do that. However, if either person's spouse or parent or guardian files a criminal complaint, then both parties of an extramarital consensual relationship can get a 6-month prison sentence of 6 months or longer. Hear that, Chris? Is it worth it cheating on your wife time after time after time after time, right? Because whilst you're allowed to do it, if either partner, say Sarah, decides to press charges on you having extramarital affairs, you can go to prison for it. It's not just frowned upon, it's illegal. There you go. Just saying, you know, maybe it's not worth, you know, trying to bed fans anymore. Possibly, you know, Sarah might take it out on you. However, this is where it gets a little bit icky, right? If a person aged 18 or over has a sexual relationship with a person under 18 years of age, they will be prosecuted for having a sexual relationship with a minor, as they should be, right, Chris? So that is a warning to your good self. If both people are under the age of 18, they will both be prosecuted, but punishment is likely to be limited to a caution, parental supervision, judicial supervision, professional training, or psychiatric treatment. That's right. So yeah, if you have underage sex, even if you're both underage, the kids could get psychiatric treatment for that. Don't know how I feel about that, if I'm being honest. Oh, Christopher. So this could be where you come really unstuck, and I don't think anybody's actually picked up on it because they're focusing on far too many other different things. Now, swearing and rude gestures. Swearing and making rude gestures, including online, are illegal as they are considered obscene acts. You can be jailed or deported. take particular care when dealing with the police and other officials. So, if you were to swear in public, that's bad, right? Now, I don't think you will do that because you're quite wimpish and, you know, you're scared of people who might want to approach you for varying reasons. However, you have sworn online and made rude gestures online copious amounts of times, right? Seriously. It's all online. We all have evidence of you doing it, right? If you do that online whilst you're living in Dubai, you can be deported, it says here. How do you feel about that? How does that make you feel? Good? Excited? Adrenaline pumping, does it, Christopher? Does it make you feel like you could, you know, be deported at any particular moment in life? I bet that gets the old heart racing, doesn't it? Again, you haven't missed this kind of excitement for... You've not had this kind of excitement for a while, have you? Anyway, good luck with that one. Now we come to sexual assault, and oh my good God, right, so I feel like this is one of the worst things that is on the list, to be honest with you. Obviously, assaulting somebody is a bad thing, right? Absolutely. But here's what it says. Take care when walking or travelling alone and use a reputable taxi company, particularly if you're female, and at night do not accept lifts from strangers. Now that's excellent advice all over the world, obviously, right? Personal attacks, including sexual assault and rape, are relatively rare, but do happen. A male who rapes a female will be given life imprisonment, as they should do, right? And in some cases, prosecutors may request the death penalty. Even better, right? I absolutely agree with that. You know, this is odd that I'm agreeing with one of Dubai's laws, but it gets worse, right? This next bit I don't agree with, and I never will do, right? It says, however, UAE law places a high burden of proof on the victim to demonstrate the sexual relations were not consensual, especially when the victim had consumed alcohol or where the alleged attacker was known to the victim, right? So basically what that means, I'm sure you understand what it means, is that if you know your attacker, you have to really prove that it wasn't consensual. So basically they're assuming that it's consensual unless you can prove otherwise. Obviously as well, alcohol involved there. If you're drunk, then you've got no chance. So basically lots of you know, perpetrators get off with it by the sounds of things. Now this is where it gets even worse, right? Because that's bad enough in my opinion. It says, if the sexual relations are determined to have been consensual, either party may still face prosecution for the offence of sex outside marriage. So, if you're following this, what can actually happen in this scenario, in this warped little scenario that Dubai have whipped up for us, is that a male could rape a female. They could then determine that it was actually consensual and not rape, and because it's consensual, then they can get prosecuted for having sex outside of marriage. So basically, if you've been raped, you can get done for sex outside marriage. I literally have no words for that level of thinking. I don't know how often that scenario actually happens. I don't know, but to me, I'm actually lost for words with how that is even a thing. And this is the country that Chris has decided to call his own, because why not, right? Tax treaties and all. But, you know, laws like this is just insane. There's this other one though. It's illegal to bring pork products or pornography into the UAE. Videos, books and magazines may be subject to scrutiny and may be censored. So Chris, did you hide your books and your magazines? Did you? Before you left the country? I bet you didn't, did you? I bet that's why it took you so long. That's what the delay is right now. You've been pulled up for all your magazines and things. You know, hide them better, okay? So as you can see, the laws surrounding certain things in Dubai are not really to most people's taste, and I wouldn't want to live there, to be honest with you. And that's not all that affects the human rights. There's some more things that we're going to cover as well shortly, and we'll get into that. Now, the next segment is filming, which is something, obviously, that affects the Inghams, because that's their job, right? This one says media activity. You must apply for the appropriate permissions to carry out media activity, including the production, transmission and or distribution of printed, digital, audio, video and or visual information. Failure to do so could end up in imprisonment and a substantial fine. Right, so that's saying there that you cannot film in public. You can't just rock up with your camera, Chris, and start filming. You need permissions to do it. You need to apply for, and everything, right? And if you don't, you could go to prison. I thought you were afraid of prison, Chris, but apparently you're willing to risk it, I guess, right? Because you're not exactly hiding your commercial filming activities.
Because people will find out your address in 2 seconds, so we will show you guys stuff like that, but right now we definitely can't. So we have come to Silicon Oasis, which is a massive shopping mall not very far from where we live, and because there is a Lulu hypermarket, and we've been told by our now very good friends, so random how fates happen, right?
It's so weird.
Have you mentioned this on the camera at all?
I have mentioned it, yeah, but they ended up helping us out today, even though our house viewings were with a separate realtor. They said, look, let me come join you, I can let you know, like, make sure everything's okay, because supposedly, I'm not bashing everyone with one broom here, but supposedly some realtors can be scammers, basically.
So it almost feels as if they are not paying much attention to the laws of the country to which they are residing. It also says here, do not photograph people without their permission. Men have been arrested for photographing women on beaches. Hear that, Chris? Do not be photographing people on beaches, or anywhere else for that matter.
But we need to just respect our own privacy with the whole houses things, because it's very easy these days to find out where houses are, etc. Yeah, there's just too many weirdos.
So be careful what you're showing. It tries to find out where your house is.
There's too many weirdos about these days to be showing houses online before we've even moved in, etc.
So as you can see, filming every single person in the shopping mall. Oh my good God, it's almost as if he doesn't care about being imprisoned. Good luck with that one, Chris. So on with the next segment, drinking. A very interesting topic.
And also, this blows my mind, Isabel can drink with me this year.
No, man.
No, it don't feel right, does it?
Don't tell her that.
It doesn't feel like, I feel like I need to be sly on camera, like, is that do you want to taste my wine like we have done in the past? Don't put on the vlogs, everyone does that, women going mad, but do you want to have a taste of my wine, or do you want to taste this fruit, so do you want a fruit cider, for example? But now we don't have to do that.
Isabel ain't got no moderation.
No, she's even been drunk once, and it was bad, really bad. She got drunk once, and it was bad.
So after Isabel has finally reached the age of 18 and she can drink with mummy at home, in a twisted turn of events, the legal age for purchasing and drinking alcohol is 21 in Dubai. And that's fucked up for her, isn't it, really?
From last Christmas. This looks so good, and they've not even been opened. Got a chocolate and orange one, that looks good. We've got Bailey's Eaten Mess, we've got loads of like... Hello, darling girl. You okay? Yeah. Good. We do have a couple of 18-year-olds coming, so I thought I'd get one of these. kind of mixer packs, but then I realised we've still got some more from last year down here, so maybe that one wasn't quite a good shout. Some ciders, because one of our friends really likes this Strongbow dark fruits. Chris also kind of likes this.
But those drinking parties will be a thing of the past now because of this. If you are a resident in Dubai and want to buy alcohol to drink at home, you must get a liquor license. Oh my god, so if you are wanting to drink at home at all, you need a license to do so. Are you going to do that, Chris? Are you? You're going to get yourself a license? Seems extreme to me, if I'm being honest with you. I'm not entirely down with that sort of thing, but apparently it's the law, so who am I to argue with the Dubai archaicness? Anyway, right, so oh yes, LGBTQ plus. Everybody's favourite topic when it comes to the Middle East, isn't it, these days? It's an extension of the human rights violations which they like to impose on people. But according to the Inghams, they are very much in favour of people being gay. So that's works out well, doesn't it, Chris?
I mean, I think Esme and Isla are probably too young to know if they're gay or not. Isabel's not too young to know if she's gay, but I don't think she's gay.
No, I'm straight.
Isabel's straight.
Such pain shoulder.
We don't have anything wrong with if one of our children wanted to be gay, or if Jace wanted to be gay. We've got gay friends, and I've got gay friends. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. No. People don't choose their sexuality. They are what they are.
Yeah, you don't want to be gay. You either gay or you're not.
You don't just grow up and be like, I want to be gay when I grow up. You're just either that or you're not.
I don't know why there's ever any stigma.
Yeah, I know.
Stigma against things like that. You know,
I think it's more
who you like. It doesn't matter who you like or who you love in this world, be it a man or be it a woman. You know, it's you just love somebody like anybody else loves somebody.
Yeah.
And who's anybody to judge on
there was
that?
A question. There was an assumption actually that you were bisexual.
I'm not, but you know, if I was, then
Big
yeah,
deal.
wicked,
Yeah.
nice one. But yeah.
So, apparently they are very much in favour of gayness. Gayness. I'm sorry, I'm not being offensive. You know, people being gay and other parts of the LGBTQ, right? Now, how do you feel living in a country which has laws such as this one right here? All same-sex activity is illegal in the UAE. Are you going to combat that, Chris? I mean, say for example you swung both ways. I'm not saying you do, just saying it's a possibility, right? You've even put that out there yourself. It's a possibility. If you were, then good luck to me. Isn't that what you said to yourself? I don't know. Anyway, so it's a bit of an issue, really, that you're living in a country that has no tolerance whatsoever towards people of that persuasion. It does go on to say the UAE is in many respects a tolerant society and private life is respected, although there has been some reports of individuals being punished for same-sex activity, particularly where there is any public element or where the behaviour has been accused of causing offence. This applies to both expatriates, residents and tourists. So basically it's saying there that if you do it within the confines of your own home, nobody's going to come bursting down your door, right? So invite your friends then, Chris, get them over and have a little swingers do, right? That's not even right, is it? Not even right. Sorry. Serious topic though, isn't it? Because I feel like it's a topic which is, it's not even divisive these days. I think it's universally recognised that restricting LGBTQ activity is just plain wrong, and yet you would choose to move to a country which is very limiting in that respect. But anyway, on to the next one. So finally we have a couple of warnings, just general warnings for Chris and Sarah if they intend to set up home over there. Outdoor activities and adventure tourism. Swimming safety. That's your favourite topic, isn't it, Chris, Sarah? It's your favourite topic. Rip currents can occur at any beach and can sweep even the strongest swimmer out to sea, right? This is a very important part because when people pulled you up about currents, you said that you didn't agree with it, you didn't think it was a thing, it was completely alien to you, and that you didn't understand why you were being vilified for it, right? Ari, the whole kayak pool incident, if you remember. It says check for warning signs, which is good, Chris, which is good because you always love a good sign. If it doesn't have a sign on it, you don't know that it's dangerous, am I right? Especially red flags, which mean that swimming is dangerous. Only swim from approved beaches where a lifeguard and flags indicating it is safe to swim are present. So there you go, Chris. You've been warned, and there are signs. So I would wear a life jacket. You know, get your kids kitted out, possibly. Financial crime. Right, so financial crimes, including fraud and non-payment of bills, including hotel bills, can often result in imprisonment and or a fine. Bank accounts and other assets can also be frozen. If you are arrested for a financial crime and are not resident in the UAE, it is likely that you will not be allowed bail. If you're convicted, you may not be released from prison until the debt is paid or waived and your full sentence is served. So, basically, there it's as self-explanatory. Don't rip people off, Chris. Don't rip people off. I would say that, you know, don't try and scam people. I've seen your scam recently online. What was it you were saying? £50 for your course? $50 for your course? When it's supposed to be like $600. I would say, as a casual observer, that is bordering on ripping off the company which you are you bought it from. Just saying. I'm not saying anything else. Right? There's just a number of things throughout this entire thing, this entire video, that Chris could actually get done for, and he doesn't even realise it, right? The swearing in public, the swearing online, you know, telling people to F off, sticking a finger up at people online. That is an obscene act, and you do that all the time. So, good luck to you. As I said, Chris, you will definitely need the luck, and I feel like it's not going to go your way, unfortunately for you. But good luck to you. Keep on running, keep on striding, and we'll see you sometime back in the UK soon, I'm sure. Until next time, guys, I hope you've enjoyed this little rundown, and you've learned one or two things about the ways of Dubai. I personally wouldn't go and live there because their laws and the rules and their opinions on certain sensitive topics are just archaic, and I could not be getting down with that, irrespective of the no tax law, right? Doesn't make any difference. So if you've enjoyed this video, please give it a massive thumbs up, comment all of your thoughts about it down below, and subscribe to the channel if you're new. Until next time, have a brilliant day, take care, and bye bye.